because it's we were just talking about it on Twitter, so I figured that I would bring this up. Ninja tweeted out, the phrase, "it's just a game," is such a weak mindset. You are okay with what happened, losing, imperfection of a craft. When you stop getting angry after losing, you've lost twice. There's always something to learn and always room for improvement. Never settle.
This is the issue I'm having with like people that respond to this negatively.
First, let me say, the amount of people that took that the complete wrong way makes me, one, not envy the position that Tyler's in, because he's so big that everybody's just looking to chop him down.
Right.
Like losers, right? Anyway, I'm not gonna get into it. But the amount of people that twisted that message into a whack-ass narrative, like seriously, like got me in a mood where I was just fucking insanely mad. And I can't be mad because I can't control my feelings. You think you're gonna be able to control your feelings with your tweet that says you shouldn't do that, you shouldn't, no one can control my anger but me, and I can't even fucking control it.
It's just like people got stuck on the whole gaming side of it. Like, that's just his craft. That's his job. That's what he does. Like, it can apply to anything. You could fill anything in there. Like, I could be an NFL quarterback. That could be a salesperson.
It's a game.
It could be anything. It applies to, like, life and what you are trying to be good at in your, like, career, whatever it is. But, like, everyone was like, well, I play games just to relax. Okay, that's not what this is about.
Yeah.
That's it, dude, I was just reading responses like, I just sometimes think it's either people like to hate on people at the top, obviously, is part of it. I just think sometimes people's reading comprehension is horrific. Because I just read that, like I knew what it meant. I don't know. I just don't. And then people they're like, oh, so you're saying it's okay to like rage and punch a hole in the wall? Like, how do you get that from what he said?
I've broken more controllers and more headsets before I started making money on this thing than after. And I've broken a bunch, right? It's just the way that I've punched walls in an argument with my brother before.
And that's how you dealt with it. But I don't think he was saying that that's what you should do. Like, you don't need to rage or be toxic. Like, I don't know. Some people, I think what was the word he used? Anger, right? Like, anger is a very healthy and normal emotion, but sometimes people
mindset happening losers.
People twisted the word anger into like, I don't know.
When you stop getting angry after losing.
You can get angry. Angry is a very healthy emotion. But
what if he would have said depressed or sad or what if you said it's like, I'm happy losing? Think about the amount of winners, right? That would have been like, wow, what a loser mindset. You like losing? You're happy about losing? Like winner, no way to win in his scenario because the amount of people that are following him and are
it's tough. It's people's perception, and I feel like depending on where you're at in life, you're gonna have a different response to it. And it's like from being a pro, losses hit you so hard because people don't see the amount of time, hours, patience, all that type of stuff. Like even as a coach, there's a lot of times where I felt like we would go into an event super prepared, we would lose, and it would just hit super hard. So it's like some people like translate their anger differently, and I feel like depending on how they do that and like where they're at in life and how like competitive they are, right? Yeah. So it's like I feel like people. Hopefully this doesn't come off wrong, but people that are like settle probably might get like a negative connotation from his tweet because like they're okay, you know, where other people are going to get pissed because they're not where they want to be and they get that like drives them. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. It's like I don't want to knock people for how they like react to their own feelings, I guess, but it's like I feel like if you want to continually get better, failure is what gets you to that point, right? And people just respond to failure differently. Yeah. Some people like tend to give up. And that, for me, that tweet says, don't give up, find how to improve the next time.
It literally says never settle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never settle.
Maybe he could have worded it like slightly better, but I just feel like
people are looking for the negative.
Yes, exactly. There's looking
That's the annoying part for me. And that's why social media is tough.
Even what was the one that drove me crazy too? Well, he tweeted he could have worded a little bit better too, but like the one about the NFL kickers or whatever. And then he replied to the one guy, and because the one guy compared it to Fortnite or whatever, and said that's a stupid comparison. And he's like, you can't compare kicking a football to like Fortnite as a whole. And like I understood what that meant. Like that'd be like it's one part of the game. It's one part of football. Yeah. Like if you would have. Well, what can I compare it to? Like CS. If one guy's job was only opping, only sniping, and that guy was consistently missing open snipes, he'd be off the team. But like I don't know. Sometimes his tweets, like people go out. It's just part of being famous, I guess. But like I read them, I'm like, I get that. That makes sense. Why is everyone freaking out? I just don't get it half the time. He has said some stupid ones, but like when they aren't stupid, yeah, no, I know. Yeah. We all do. And also like it drives me crazy. I don't want to go off the rails too much with this, but like that one time he'll clap back at somebody and everyone makes it a big deal. Like,
yeah.
He ignored 2,000.
Yeah.
He responds to one. Like, come on, man. Like. I'm 1 billionth of his size, and sometimes I just feel the need to be like, shut the fuck up.
Sometimes I wake up in the mood to correct everybody that's wrong. You know what I'm saying? Unfortunately, I
can't do it.
Most of the no, you just ignore it.
I'm not a big fan of social media. Obviously, it's a big part of what we do. You got to generate, clicks, right? We got to get people engaged in some sort of way, whether that's positive, negative, in between. I can't sit there and go and correct people, and like some people just are in a certain mood and look for certain things in certain tweets, and it's just like I just try and take stuff for as it is and move on. I can't sit there and correct people all day.
You know who used to be really good at that? C. Nanners. Obviously, C. Nanners, like at the time when he blew up and he was the biggest thing in gaming at one point, like he had a lot of negative comments. Like, you're boring, your voice, you're this, you're that, or and he never not once responded to it. And Hutch, I remember Hutch talking about it vividly. He'd be like, I don't know how he does it. If somebody's wrong, I'm telling him it's wrong. I mean, to this day, Hutch is in an argument. I bet you if I go to his Twitter, he's in an argument right now about Bernie Sanders. Not whatever. But that's the sort of level that he is. Now, on that point, actually, let me give a quick shout out to the sponsors, and then I'll get back to the argument point of the whole thing. So, blah 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 blah. So huge shout out to both Hims. No, who is it? Honey and. So again, huge shout out to Hims and Honey for that. But the point that I was making with Hutch and the arguments is that just like not being able to control your anger when you lose, I can't control whether or not I want to reply to somebody. There are millions of times where I type something out, I feel good, and I delete it. I never push send. That happens at least 10 times a day, where I could correct people. If I go back to the dropping of the Halo team, you were there for that. The amount of times that I wanted to explain myself and clear my name and to say the truth of what was happening. Same thing as a coach.
Yes. People would ream me. Yes. And I'm like, there's an amount of times where I had something typed up and I'm like, stop it. Put it down.
Yeah. It was...
See, I don't mind it's not the trolls or just people intentionally being toxic. It's the ignorance.
Yeah.
When the people think they're making such a good point and they get it, and I'm like, you just see 1% of the whole picture and don't understand shit. That's when it gets to me. When it's about either the CDL or anything, like when people are just so ignorant to how things work. And that's with the comments about Halo or Coach, they don't get shit about it. It's just, that's when ignorance gets to me bad. Because I try to, not all the time, but I try to respond to things when I feel I get it. Like, I try to get information, understand the whole picture. I try to, but sometimes people just don't.
Do you at times feel like it's your responsibility to let somebody know that they're being stupid?
Yes. Yeah.
Remember that one time?
I think today I literally responded to someone that said that's stupid. So
you remember that one time you looked into my eyes and you saw nothing because I was so drunk? You're like, go to sleep.
Yeah.
Like that. Do you feel like it's your responsibility to look at somebody who's obviously nothing's in there? It's a fucking can of beans, right? Like no brain in there. Yeah. And you see the tweet. I've
seen that, yeah.
You see the tweet and you're just like, it's my job to let him know that he's being a moron.
Yeah, I fall into that sometimes.
Do you?
Oh, yeah. No, especially, dude, at the, what was I can't remember at the last CDL event, but Joe's like, "What are you doing?" I was at London, just replying to people. It was all the confusion around the format and stuff.
Yeah.
And people were just saying it was trash. I'm like, listen, you may not like it, but it's not. You just don't understand it. Like when it was the GSL group in a single limb, people just couldn't wrap their head around it. I must have responded to 50 tweets just trying to explain. That was just something where people literally didn't understand it.
Which is crazy because it's always been that way, just in different.
Yeah.
Well, GSL in a single limb is such a common thing, but people were so confused, and I just was I literally was just there for 2 hours replying to people trying to explain stuff.
I try and give people the benefit of the doubt. It's are these people new to following you? I don't want to come off as fake if I say that, but. Streaming, for example, when I see the same question for the 20th time, I really don't want to answer it. But it's not that person's fault that they're the 20th person, right? So it's just I try and be as nice and not use tone and not snap as people as much as possible because they're either just not knowledgeable on it but I totally get what you guys are saying. When they put a low effort just troll ass answer and stuff like that, and they obviously haven't taken the time to learn much about whatever the topic is. It can be very frustrating, but
ignorance just drives me nuts. It really does.
I'm a big helper. I'm here to help. And when I see a young lost soul, I have to literally tell you, you're being a fucking moron.
It's okay to understand something. Put some effort into understanding it. There's some people just don't put any effort into getting something.
Yeah,
just
it's
just
effort.
Throw their opinion out there with no understanding
sure.
of the whole picture. Drives me batshit. It does.
Well, I think I fell into that today when I told Nameless, when I said that Nameless was being controversial, and he's like, "You obviously didn't watch the show," and I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "I did it." He's like, "All right, my bad," and I was like, "No, well, it's my bad because
you should have seen the other day. It was so funny. He probably doesn't want me to say this, but I don't even care. We were talking to him about just like, listen, man, you can't let the toxicity bother you and stuff. Like that's part of being on air talent, man. Like you're gonna get blasted with opinions. That's just how it works. And he's like, I'm gonna own it. What were they getting on him for at first? I think it was just the contestant of the point, the first episode. They were getting on it right when it first aired. And I was like, listen, man, you want to own the toxicity? You tweet, man, Atlanta Finals is going to be a fast one. Huntsman getting 3-0. And he was like, I'll tweet that word for word. He put it out there. I was like, all right, there we go.
So he does like it. Yeah, so he does like it.
I mean, he just, I don't know. I just feel like in any of our positions, that's just, you got to deal with some of the social media stuff, like especially when you're making opinions and on talk shows and stuff. Like that's just part of it.